Elon Musk shifted his stance slightly, his gaze flicking up to the digital departure board above the gate. Flight 827 to Austin was still on schedule, a rare stroke of luck on a day like today. Adjusting the strap of his backpack, he felt its familiar weight press into his shoulder. He wasn't in the mood to attract attention, which was exactly why he had opted for the hoodie, worn-out jeans, and a pair of well-used sneakers. Even billionaires got tired of the constant stares, hushed whispers, and sudden selfie requests. Today, he just wanted to blend into the crowd, slipping through the airport unnoticed. By the way, if you're enjoying the story, make sure to hit that like button. The first-class boarding line was mercifully short, a promising sign for a smooth experience. He had work to catch up, one mails to answer, and notes to organize for an upcoming presentation. The SpaceX team was relying on him, and he thrived under that kind of pressure. As he stood there, his mind wandered to the charity event scheduled after his meeting. It was for a cause close to his heart-expanding STEM education opportunities for underprivileged students. A faint smile played at his lips beneath the hood as he imagined the excitement of the kids who would benefit. His quiet moment, however, was abruptly interrupted. "Excuse me." The sharp voice cut through his thoughts. He lifted his eyes, his face still half concealed by the hood. A woman was striding toward him, her heels clicking against the polished airport floor. Her expression wasn't one of admiration, it was the kind that commanded attention. Elon had a feeling this was about to be one of those moments. "Are you lost or something?" she snapped, her tone laced with irritation. Elon didn't react right away. He had learned that patience was often the best response in situations like this. Lifting his head just enough to meet her gaze, he took in her appearance, late 40s, maybe early 50s, with an air of self-importance. Her hair was impeccably styled, her makeup flawless, and her outfit practically screamed high-end designer. She carried herself as though she owned the space around her, the kind of person who expected to be obeyed without question. "I'm sorry," Elon said, his voice even. She let out an exasperated sigh, as if even explaining herself was beneath her. "This is the first-class line," she stated, eyes narrowing as she gave him a once-over. "You don't exactly look like you belong here." Elon blinked, momentarily thrown. He hadn't come here expecting an argument, especially not over something as trivial as his choice of clothing. "I have a first-class ticket," he replied simply, pulling back his hood just enough to make himself clearer. The woman laughed sharp and dismissive. "Sure you do," she said, crossing her arms. "Look, I don't have time for games. The economy line is over there." She gestured dramatically toward the other side of the boarding area. For a brief moment, Elon debated whether this was even worth his time. A younger version of himself might have met her sarcasm with a witty remark, but experience had taught him to pick his battles. Speaking of choices, choosing to subscribe right now would be a smart move. Don't miss out on more great content like this. "Ma'am," he said calmly, "I promise you, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. There's no need for this." But she wasn't listening. "Don't lie to me," she interrupted, her voice rising just enough to draw attention. "People like you always try to sneak into places you don't belong. It's not fair to the rest of us who actually paid for our tickets." The accusation hung in the air, heavy and unwarranted. Elon could feel the weight of countless eyes turning toward him now. Some people whispered amongst themselves, while others simply stared, unsure of what was unfolding. He took a slow breath, steadying himself. "I assure you," he said, voice measured, "I paid for my ticket just like everyone else here." But the woman Karen, as he mentally labeled her, wasn't backing down. "If you don't move, I'll call security," she threatened, her voice brimming with self-righteous authority. Elon glanced around, noting the growing interest from the surrounding travelers. This was exactly what he had hoped to avoid attention. And yet, here he was, at the center of a completely unnecessary scene. Karen didn't wait for his response. She waved frantically at a nearby security officer, signaling him with exaggerated gestures. "Officer," she called, her voice commanding as if she were summoning a servant. "This man is trying to cut into the first-class line without a proper ticket." The officer, a stocky man with a well-pressed uniform, approached with a cautious but neutral expression. His eyes flicked between Karen's accusatory stance and Elon's calm demeanor. "Ma'am, what seems to be the issue here?" the officer asked, his tone professional but slightly wary. Karen wasted no time launching into her tirade. "This man," she declared, pointing an indignant finger at Elon, "clearly doesn't belong here. He's holding up the line and causing a scene. I demand you remove him immediately." Elon tilted his head slightly, pressing his lips into a thin line. He had seen situations like this play out before where snap judgments turned into unnecessary drama. But he also knew that anger wouldn't resolve anything. "Sir," the officer said, turning to Elon, "do you have your ticket with you?" Without a word, Elon reached into his backpack and retrieved a neatly folded piece of paper. He handed it over, watching as the officer unfolded it and examined the details. The officer's eyebrows lifted slightly. "This is a first-class ticket," he confirmed, turning back toward Karen. Karen's face twisted in disbelief. "That can't be right," she stammered, her earlier confidence faltering. "Are you sure?" The officer nodded. "Yes, ma'am. He belongs in this line." The crowd murmured in recognition, whispers spreading as they leaned in to get a better look at Elon. Karen's face paled as realization hit her. Elon, still calm, met her gaze. "I tried to tell you," he said, his voice firm. The surrounding passengers watched in quiet awe, some nodding in approval. Before you go, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories like this.